again, and welcome back to part 2, where we discuss the ACS care path here at KidsAbility. If you have not previously watched part 1, I encourage you to do so as it provides a strong foundation for understanding communication and all of its forms. In part 2, we will discuss what to expect at KidsAbility while traveling through our Augmentative Communication Services care path. We will take a look at the clinicians involved, who you will meet along the way, as well as important information regarding funding and things we think about as clinicians to decide which AAC supports will be the right fit. A social story is provided to read to your child prior to coming to KidsAbility, as well as any other ways you can prepare. Here's a visual of how families travel through our care path. We start with the referral to our clinic, and after you move through the wait list, a SET meeting will be booked. SET stands for Student, Environment, Tasks, and Tools. This will be a virtual meeting to discuss your child's communication needs regarding each category. Next, there will be 2 to 3 in-person assessments booked, which typically take place at our Waterloo site. This is where the team will gather and analyze data on your child's use of the device. Once the assessments are done, a follow-up meeting will be booked to discuss assessment results and recommendations. This is a great time to discuss if it's right to move forward with a device, funding, leasing versus buying, as well as other questions you may have. Once a decision is made, the team will approve and we will begin the paperwork process. It will be prepared with instructions of completion, and then families take the lead on having this filled out. Once it's completed and returned to KidsAbility, our team will request the device from our vendors. The dispense appointment is booked once we receive the device at our center in KidsAbility. At this time, we will set up the device with all decisions that were finalized with you and including the SLP's expertise. Next, there will be another adult-only appointment to set goals for the remainder of the care path, as well as teach caregivers how to edit and program on the device. These are typically combined and take place in one in-person appointment. After goals are set, it is typical to spend time practicing at home and using the strategies discussed. It is also common to have your child come into KidsAbility again, where the ACS clinicians can help with implementing strategies for device use. There will also be a 3-month and a 5-month virtual check-in to ensure we can support you the best during this new learning period. The ACS Purchase Device Care Path is 6 months from the goal setting and programming appointment in order to support you through a smooth transition of adding AAC as a communication support. After 6 months, we will discuss discharge from our program with referral option as needed. Some of the ACS clinicians you will interact with along the way are shown here. The speech-language pathologist will be present throughout the care path, preparing, assessing, setting goals with you, as well as continuing to support with strategies for AAC use. The occupational therapist may be integrated into your care path if there are access or mobility considerations. Our OT will aid in assessment and implementation of access and mounting. The communicative disorder assistant will support the SLP during assessment and help families navigate through the paperwork process as well as programming on the device. We also have a technology support available at our clinic for high-tech devices throughout our care path if needed. Funding of the communication device will be something discussed during your time with Augmentative Communication Services at KidsAbility. This is helpful information to understand the topic of funding. ADP stands for the Assistive Devices Program. This program is run through the Ontario government and will fund 75% of the device cost. Caregivers are responsible for the remainder 25% of the cost, including HST. You may be receiving social benefits in the mail every month with varying amounts of funds. Examples of these are assistance for children with severe disabilities, or ACSD, Ontario Disability Support Program, or ODSP, and finally Ontario Works, or OW. Your clinicians will inquire if you receive any of these benefits, as it is an important step during the paperwork process. If you do receive any one of these three of any amount per month, the remainder 25% of the device will be covered. Therefore, 100% of the cost will be funded except HST, which caregivers are responsible for. Finally, select devices are available to lease through our vendors. If you are continuing through the leasing care path, you will be attached with KidsAbility for 5 years, paying 5% of these lease costs each year. Social benefits apply to leasing as well. Your ACS team will require the most recent stub for social benefits at the time of paperwork. There are many AAC supports available for people of all ages and abilities. Choosing the right fit will be something your SLP discusses with you during the assessment. Here are some things you can take into consideration as well. Different children have different levels at which they communicate through a variety of ways. For example, they may not be using spoken words with their mouth often, however, are hand leading to you consistently or using gestures to get their message across. This can be something you bring up to the SLP during the beginning stages so they have an idea of what communication looks like for your child. Another thing that's important to take into consideration is the capacity of your family during this process. Implementing higher tech devices takes consistent practice and support. If you have other financial commitments, health needs, or major transitions in your family lives, then there's the option to defer your involvement at that time. High-tech tablets such as iPads are only one of many supports. Our team can help implement low or no tech options for the time being until there's increased capacity to support. If at this time you are not wishing to move forward, please contact CSA-ACS@kidsability.ca to discuss putting our service on hold or discharging. If you think your child may have a harder transition coming to a new building, unaware of what will happen, you may review this social story with them to create a comfortable experience. If you click on the box, you may view this as a PDF and show your child what will take place at the assessment stage. This can also be helpful for you as parents. Now wrapping up part 2 of the videos, here are some things you can do to create a smooth process through our care path. Start by watching video 3, the final part of the video series, to learn more about strategies to use with your child. These strategies will be great to practice prior to the assessment to help prepare them for communicating. Another helpful tip is to research if you receive social benefits that were discussed earlier in this video. This will be helpful to know during the assessment stage as our clinicians can prepare different options. Finally, review the ACS social story presented on the last slide when your assessment date is nearing. Thank you for staying tuned for part 2. I will see you back for part 3 to discuss resources and strategies for communication.